Is my throat cleared?
Got the genophage. Coughing like a Krogan.
Total War Three Kingdoms was revealed this week. Jake Kulkowski, who's just taken a sip of coffee as
No, it's okay, Mike Williams.
So this is the newest Total War historical game, which has just been announced, not to be confused with the other Total War properties, Total War Battles Kingdom and Medieval 2 Total War Kingdoms. So that's the name that they seem to like. It's a new historical entry in the long-running Total War PC strategy series, of course, developed by Creative Assembly and published by Sega. If you don't know what Total War is, it blends real-time tactical battles with hundreds, if not thousands, of soldiers. And in the more recent titles like Total War Warhammer, there's big monsters and
spiders
stuff.
And that.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff, magic spells and everything. And they combine that with a big turn-based kind of meta campaign that kind of sets up these battles for you, so that you want to take a castle, then you've got to lay siege to it, and then if the odds of winning it aren't high enough for you, then you'll probably go in to control the battle yourself, and that's how the game normally goes. And that big campaign has all the good stuff: building, expanding, making allegiances, trading, all that kind of strategy.
Basically everything war encompasses.
Exactly.
I guess hence the name Total War.
Yeah, I suppose so. Maybe I shouldn't have even bothered explaining it. You're right. So Three Kingdoms takes place back to 190 CE China, which is a very long time ago, in the age of Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which is a book written about that time in the 14th century. So that very old book was about a very old time itself. So that period has been the subject of countless games in the past, including most notably, of course, Dynasty Warriors. The 9th main installment, which is out next month, actually, February the 8th.
New Dynasty Warriors is out.
Dynasty Warriors 9, yeah. So that's coming this year as well. So that's interesting. So the Total War game, Three Kingdoms, is set to come out on PC sometime in the autumn. And the Steam page did say September, right? Some websites picked this up. I think it was Polygon or something that I saw picked that up and said, it's coming in September. But that was laughed off on Reddit by Creative Assembly.
Creative Assembly, who, it's the real Creative Assembly social media manager that does roam around Reddit.
It's super verified. It stands out so much in the comments. It's like, this is the real one.
Yeah, exactly. So they specifically said autumn or fall for our American listeners.
Yeah, so it was like a placeholder.
Exactly. And why is that, Mike? Because they've got another game coming out, right?
Yeah.
Very soon.
Yeah.
I believe spring, so they can't really see. This is a little bit different, though, because it's not a main line.
Well, this announcement of the Three Kingdoms, it's interesting you bring that up, because that's, I think, what a lot of this video is going to be about after we talk about the trailer and stuff. What does this game actually mean for the series? Because there's a lot of stuff coming out of Creative Assembly now with this. And, I'm a huge Total War fan, so I am excited about it. So let's talk about that reveal first, the reveal of the trailer itself. They announced the game with a trailer on Wednesday. But that wasn't supposed to happen by the looks of it, right? So, do you want to tell us?
Yeah, sure. So, do you know what? Actually, this happened with 3 companies yesterday.
Yeah, it was a horrible day for guerrilla marketing.
Yeah, basically, like on social media managers can not just publish some things, but they can schedule them. So I guess they send things out to the press, and then to make a big, huge entry, they'll just like get everybody to schedule their articles to be released at the same time. So Total War announced that there's going to be an announcement in 24 hours, and it linked to a website which was comingsoon.totalwar.com, and it was a countdown timer, which was 24-hour countdown timer. Then some German gaming publication,
I believe it was called GameStar, I may have got that wrong.
I think it is GameStar.de, released their full article. Yeah. So it's a bit trigger happy, or maybe they got the day wrong, but it showed off the trailer, which is the first time the trailer was seen, as well as a full write-up in German, so you could translate it to English and you could read it there. Then, like a bodged 10 minutes after that, Creative Assembly and the Total War social media officially posted it. So they just said, guys, it's a 24-hour countdown, 23 and a half hours in. They already posted the main thing, and then somebody on Reddit had said, maybe this is because German publication GameStar leaked it, and Creative Assembly replied saying, confirmed.
I mean, they were making jokes about it afterwards. That kind of happened, but the news is out and the trailer came out. The trailer looks awesome, cinematic trailer, no gameplay at all, nothing to do with gameplay really.
Similar to the previous Total War trailer for Thrones of Britannia, where it was like first had like a bunch of like watercolors. And then now there's like a CGI one, isn't it? Very similar.
And then in that CGI one, there's also there's definitely a gameplay trailer stuff.
Yeah, there is now, isn't there? Yeah, people are saying it's like a tiller. This though, you're right, no gameplay whatsoever. But characters, the featured generals and stuff like that, people know who they are because they're iconic. Obviously,
well,
history buffs.
That's very important to what they were doing with this. So this trailer was pretty typical for Total War. Cinematic trailer is the first one that comes out. It just sets the tone for the era, gives you a flavour of the setting, what's going to this kind of story setup is going to be and stuff at the beginning of every campaign, the grand campaign that you play. Some great narration work in there as well. The last line from the trailer comes about halfway through, right? And the words are "Destiny shaped by its champions."
Yeah.
And then the rest of the trailer, the second half of the trailer, is about heroes and champions, these iconic people who kind of fuel the fantasy of like Dynasty Warriors. You play one of these people just like annihilating all of the grunts, I guess, in the army. And that's almost what happens here. There's just heroes just mowing down these grunts, and then they've kind of face off against each other. And there's this big focus on champions and heroes. And the fact that they leave the trailer's narration on that point tells me this is going to be a big part of the game. That it's going to be like the heroes and the champions are going to be it almost feels like it's going to be leaning into the legend of it, if you know what I mean.
Well, there is a lot of legends surrounding this particular area of history because it's very romanticized. People hear stories. There is something like out of mythology books and things like that. There's a story of a particular general that was around in this area that was so clever he could kill people with words. You heard about this?
Yeah.
And then hilariously, well, not so much hilariously, but ironically, he was talking to an enemy, debating with him, another general on the other side of a table, I assume. I don't know. Did they have tables in 100 times? That's why I had to pause. Anyway, the point is he was having a debate and he, sort of smashed him so much with his words, it caused the opposing general to have a heart attack and die.
That sounds, so Kim Jong-un, I can't even tell you. It's like it's like North Korean propaganda. And the great leader is so intelligent that he can
once killed
murder
someone
people
with a death glare. So this is the sort of stuff that we're living up against in this. You
but
hear
it's
a lot
awesome.
of
A lot of this it fuels these great video games that we've had in the past, and there's these great, much older than that, obviously, to show the respect it deserves. These old stories that are still alive and exciting today because they're just that kind of true, genuine kind of legends, aren't they?
Well, so we think. I mean, these larger than life characters seem to be like.
Well, I mean, genuine legends in the sense that, as far as a legend goes, that is like it's the epitome of it. This is what a legend is.
Very, very true. Not based in
I wasn't saying they're factually accurate stories. I was saying this is, if you're going to say a legend, you want to explain what a legend is. Yeah, it's one of these.
Yeah,
things.
Totally. Dictionary definitely. We'll have it up on the screen now, won't we? The old Google definition of a legend for you there. Anyway, we digress. China had a lot of raging battles between the kingdoms.
Great, getting us back right on track.
What a segue. China had a lot of wars in that, so it makes sense for them to make a war game. It's an era that people wanted, and it's also a location. A lot of people assumed because I don't know how off track I'm going here, Mike, but Creative Assembly a couple of years ago took over a Bulgarian studio.
That's right.
Now their workforce is 500 plus. But
is it Black Isle?
It was, yeah. Because of this, people suspected there was going to be some sort of focus on maybe a Slavic. There was a lot of people in the comments saying it. I would have put money on it being Poland versus Russia and stuff like that. And that didn't happen. So China it's exciting for me. It's like something I'm really interested in. But a lot of history buffs are really into one particular type of history and maybe not so interested in other types. So I can see why, it's always going to please some people, but it's always going to, make people go, no, this isn't the era I wanted personally. But it seems a little bit different. Europe involved.
I think Chinese history and just kind of Asian history in general can be a bit of a blind spot for even people who describe themselves as history buffs, because Europe was so eventful, and America, the United States is so eventful, and the colonial era and things like that. There's so many things there to get your teeth into. You can know loads about that and just completely have this huge blind spot on the other side of the world of what was happening. Yeah, exactly.
There was loads of things happening around that time with the Roman Empire as well. So if you're looking into they
were kind of alongside each other. They were aware of each other's empires, but they never really interacted.
Exactly. So you're focusing more on one than the other, and I guess if you're especially here in the West, the Roman Empire's sort of mark on where we live and what we do is still so prominent now. For a history buff, I guess their focal point will be there. So it's nice to have something that, it might even be a bit of a, like a lot of people like doing their reading, don't they? I remember when the Thrones of Britannia got announced, there was lots of people in the comments saying, I can't wait to read up about this so I can see what's going to happen in the future. So there'll be a lot of frantic Google searching over the past 12 hours, I'm sure, looking at this.
For sure. And some of the kind of Let's players, for example, and things like that in the Total War community, they've had a look at to see what they think of this, and they have been saying that kind of thing as well. They've been like, well, this is a bit of a blind spot for me. I don't really know much about this, and all I've seen is the Dynasty Warriors games and that. And so they're excited about getting their teeth into this whole other strand of history that they've never really explored before. Exactly. One other little note on the trailer specifically that I want to mention as well is the three champions. I thought it was really similar to that awesome For Honor cinematic trailer where the camera kind of pans around and rotates around this group of fighters, and they're kind of even complete with close-ups on their faces and stuff. And I don't know, it seems like it's inspired from that really nice For Honor cinematic that we had before that game came out. So Three Kingdoms, it's a really interesting setting, and I definitely think there's going to be a big focus on heroes and stuff, and this is kind of what I was talking about earlier with the legends and stuff. It's going to be a historical setting, but is it going to lean into the legends at all because of all the fantasy stuff you've had in Total War Warhammer? Would you like to see that or not?
I mean, yeah, as a fan of the fantasy games, I am, but there's a lot of people that have specifically said, I'm giving Total War Warhammer a miss. I'm giving all these extra little ones a miss. I only want a mainline Total War game. And I think this would be really off-putting for them if they did have any sort of fantasy element. So many people play Total War because they love the realistic nature of things like that. I would personally love it. I like a little bit of that, and any sort of, I guess you'd call it like a supernatural element or anything like that. Very, very, very light fantasy. Yeah, but it could annoy
exaggerated
people.
History, isn't it? And it's like I imagine it would be the kind of thing like one man against 1,000 kind of thing, and totally holding his own and things like that, which you wouldn't have in historical Total War games normally. But you kind of had a bit of that in Shogun and stuff like that. You did have these really great fighters, hero type units, so they could go back to that.
Units being like very the balance of power really being in favour. Yeah, I can see there's pretty much a divide between people that are screaming, no. Yeah. There'll be people listening to this video now like absolutely scoffing at the idea. Yeah. But there'll be people that are thinking, that's pretty cool. But I think Total War Creative Assembly know exactly what they're doing. Have they announced it's a historical saga? And if that's the case, I think they're going to be playing very safe, and I think they're going to keep it true, to be honest.
I think you're right, and I think they're going to be doing some stuff for the heroes and the champion type units for sure. But it's going to be pretty safe, I think, like historically, factually accurate, I'd say. But they just maybe have a bit of fun with the idea of what a champion and a hero is and what abilities they could do. Like, if are they dead? Are they really dead? Can they spring themselves back to life and things like that? Some kind of limited, creative license with it, I imagine, right?
That's a very good, unbelievable, plausible
idea.
Yeah,
it's kind of what I'm hoping for as well, to be honest. If I could kind of choose what I'd want from it, that's kind of what I'd go for it. So Three Kingdoms is a huge announcement. It's another mainline Total War game. The series is going back to historical roots, but this is going to have pretty big ramifications. What does this game actually mean for the series? Right? We also have Total War Saga: Thrones of Britannia, which you mentioned earlier. And that's another full game, which is coming out at some point this year. And that's going to be the first game in the Total War Saga sub-series, which will focus on, smaller conflicts and settings. So Britannia, as you'd expect, is based entirely on the British Isles in the 9th century. So it's a very focused map, although that map will be more detailed. And the British Isles in Total War Thrones of Britannia will be 23 times bigger than the British Isles in Total War Attila.
This zoomed in geographical setting doesn't necessarily mean the game's going to be a lot smaller, but in scope it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's going to, like, for example, we're based in Wales, right? And we're based in North Wales. You might not have even ever heard of that. But in this game, North Wales is represented by 3 counties.
Yeah, which is so exciting for me.
Exactly. There's a castle, which is honestly like mere miles or kilometres away from where our office is based, which is being represented in Thrones of Britannia. So for us, selfishly, it is very, very exciting. Cool. Yeah. But there are people that are probably going to be not as interested.
Yeah, it's not a million. Some people have said it's not a million miles off Total War Attila, for example, in terms of the way it looks. But I think that comes down to the period a lot of the time. And I can't remember who said it, but it really made me laugh. People complain about the animations for the trailer, and there is only so many ways you can swing a sword, isn't it? Yeah, that's something that someone said.
Just some top YouTube commenter that was like some guy.
Was that you?
No, it was just a YouTube comment with loads of others. Sometimes YouTube comments can be good, can't they?
Oh, right.
That was
I thought you were like kind of just saying it was me.
No, I was just giving credit where credit's due, and that was
yeah. You know. So that kind of made me laugh, right? So that's coming, okay? That's coming this year as well. So that's 2 Total War games. Then we've also recently had the Empire Divided DLC, which was a surprise bit of late DLC for Rome 2 Total War. That game came out in September 2013. It had DLC at the end of 2017.
Yeah.
That was $15 DLC, and it told you the story of the Roman Empire in crisis, and that had like its own grand campaign. So that came out. We've also got Total War Warhammer 2, which, remember, only came out in September.
Yeah.
The first bit of DLC, Rise of the Tomb Kings, arrives later this month, January 23rd.
Yeah.
We're both looking forward to that, right?
Yeah, so that's mere weeks away. Obviously, between Rise of the Tomb Kings and like Warhammer 2's release, they did the Mortal Empires campaign.
Yeah.
And they still tweaking that now.
Yeah.
They're really putting this 500-man workforce.
I mean, they're caning
to task, ain't they? Somebody had commented to me when I'd said about Warhammer 3 is, I assume is coming out this year. They said nah, because they're only just putting out DLC for it now. They're probably going to, this will be the first proper bit of DLC. So they reckon it won't be until 2019. Do you know what? The more I think about that, where are they going to fit it? They can't put it in spring because that's when Thrones is out. They can't put it in autumn because that's when Three Kingdoms is out. What are they going to do? Summer? They're going to have a Total War game released every quarter. That's not what Total War fans are used to, is it?
No, not at all. And you know what? Total War takes a long time to play. And not that it's a long game in itself, but you can get a lot of hours out of it, and you generally want to, right? You'd want to get like over 100 hours if you're going to buy it. You've kind of got that in your back. Well, I have anyway. I kind of got that in the back of my mind. I'm going to play this multiple times.
Yeah.
So there's only so many hours in the day, and they're releasing all the DLC for it and stuff. So it's kind of crowded, I suppose. So you'd expect it to come out like next year at this point, right? And we know it's coming. We know Total War Warhammer 3 is coming.
Yeah.
The first one. So when they announced the first one, in April 2015, they kind of announced it as the first in a trilogy, and they said there'd be loads of DLC and stuff like that, and it's just a huge new universe that they're exploring. So it's definitely coming. It's basically confirmed to be in development. Yeah, when's it coming out? It's got to be 2019, isn't it?
They can't. There's not enough hours in the year to play as many Total Wars. I saw a great tweet about that. That was me that time.
That was you that time.
There we go. There we go. Back to character.
It's so subversive, this comedy. I'm just not used to it.
It's a joke.
It's good.
Yeah.
So there you go. Total War Three Kingdoms. It's a new Total War mainline game, historical setting set in ancient China. It looks. I mean, the cinematics trailer was excellent. I'm looking forward to seeing some gameplay.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what they've done with the engine and stuff, and if there's a new engine, probably not, I imagine. But if they've pushed things forward and whatnot, I'm really looking forward to seeing it in action for sure. It's coming out on PC sometime in autumn this year. Thanks for listening. See you next time.